welcome everyone. This is the Two-Way Podcast. You may recognize a few of us or heard our voices before, but basically we took some of the crew from our baseball podcast, and because the baseball season's ending, we kind of needed something to do, I guess. And we created this podcast. We brought in Mac Fleming. Mac Fleming, say hi to the boys.
Hey boys, how's she going?
Living the dream, man. If you don't remember us, on my right here is Brandon Neal. Brandon, say hi.
How are you now?
I'm good.
Doing well.
You good? And the last member of our crew, the ugliest member of our crew, Nick Bowens. How are you?
Great.
Well, we fired this up now because hockey starts on Wednesday, so we kind of wanted to get this out before it starts. And
our preseason start.
Yeah, exactly. This is our warm up before everything gets going.
Absolutely.
We're gonna go through what we got some divisions to go through. We got some other stories. We'll get to the divisions after. Oh, we got awards too.
Yeah.
So we got a little bit to talk about. First thing I kind of want to go through. I don't know if the three of you saw it, but the Evander Kane situation and everything. If you haven't seen it, I'll link the video in the description. But basically, Evander Kane got ejected last night in a heated battle between San Jose and Vegas because it was an abuse of an official, and I'm not sure if it was for the stick or if it was
abuse him first.
Yeah, 100%. But I don't know if it was for the swing of the stick or if it was for the push after.
I'm gonna guess it was the push.
I
I think the ref turned around and handled it himself. With throwing him to the ground. I think that's what that was.
Yeah.
The stick tap, and then once Evander Kane kind of pushed him back, that's where he went over and was like, "Listen."
Yeah. What do you?
I don't really like it. I think the ref instigated it. I understand like he got slapped in the side or the ass even, whatever, but that's not obviously his intentions. And like you know the type of player you're taking to the ground. You think he's just going to be like, oh yeah, this is fun. Let's roll around. No.
What do you guys think on it? Like,
Yeah, it's a tough call. It's I saw in one spot where it's basically going to be a 10-game suspension because of the call.
Yeah.
It's a tough ruling, especially in a preseason game, but I guess you got to control your emotions out there.
It's, to me though, like, I don't know, why is the ref in that play at that situation?
That's what I don't like. I mean, it's Evander Kane going after Derek Englund. Like, are you trying to say Englund can't protect himself? If anything, Kane's going to get worked there. The play was in the far corner. Like, you might as well give the linesman a stick and let him break up the play there. Like,
but he put himself there a couple times too. Like, it's not like it started right. It started over on the boards. I'm pretty sure. Like, then he kept chasing around. So it's almost like he was wearing like a Vegas or a San Jose jersey trying to get into the mix with him. Yeah,
it was weird.
He was looking for something.
Along the wall, I'd say it's Kane's fault. But once they got to the middle of the ice there, like, the linesman just got to let him go. Like, get up on the blue line, pal.
Yeah, you were trying to break it up for too long, but like the play's still going on, and you're in the middle trying to break these two guys up. Like, if you're gonna break something up, blow it dead.
Do you think the linesman's working for a contract right now? He's trying to hit a payday.
Do you think that matters? Do you think that matters to the NHL? Like, do they look at these games and be like, they cannot?
It's pretty much the same as being like an NHL player. You
have
to go through a draft system. They watch your game. Like, you work out from the very bottom and you work your way up, and they will. I'm pretty sure that they, from what I've understood from talking with refs. That's kind of
they haven't announced a suspension on it yet, have they?
No, but also I don't think that the linesman just decided out of nowhere he was going to do that. Like, I'm sure they were coached at some point recently to just start breaking more stuff up or something. Like, he's not all of a sudden like, oh, I'm going to break up these two.
Player safety thing, like trying to keep players safe. I think that's kind of also the way they're going about it. It's like, don't let them get in these fights, because we're seeing, like, you know what I mean? When Ovechkin went up against Svechnikov, took him out cold. I think they're trying to avoid that. So
I think you're also avoiding like the Max Domi situation last year, where
even like Max Domi just got jumped.
Well, I know that, but like even last year, who was it? Was it Hannafin?
Ekblad.
Ekblad, thank you.
Yeah,
suckered Ekblad last year, and Ekblad missed some time at the beginning.
But
like, you're trying to avoid that.
I think that's what they're. Yeah,
I get it.
Suckered this time, right?
Yeah,
like, that dude didn't let him get his gloves off and just started throwing.
It was so funny. I
love
watching it.
Absolutely, but I think that's absolutely what the refs are. I think looking at for.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. But... What do you think the number is on the suspension?
I think they probably knock it down to 5 games. I'm hoping.
Because Bettman gets to review it, and I mean, preseason, it wasn't anything awful. Like,
I think the saving grace he has is that like first tree hack he has at Adam. It's like he clearly not going for the ref. It's not like he was doing that to hit a ref, and then the ref kind of starts enticing it after that. So if anything, you could say like, you know what, the ref kind of brought it on. I don't think he deserves a full suspension for this because it's like it wasn't all on him.
Absolutely, yeah. But it's also like you're in that moment where there's just bodies, there's helmets everywhere. Like there's there's people in your face, and like I'd be the same way too if somebody just stepped in my face and I'm in a heated moment. It's like take a step back, get out of my bubble if you want. Like don't be right there. I understand you're trying to calm things down. That's not going to do it. Try to hold me, like contain me. Yeah. Like especially him. He obviously that was gonna happen. I saw it kind of beforehand. I definitely thought something was gonna happen and took him to the ice.
Yeah. So that's kind of, there's not many other stories going on obviously right now. That game was crazy. You could probably talk forever on that, but it's preseason, so like realistically, who cares?
I'm just excited for the matchup all season long then.
Yeah, it should be fun. That is the one thing. It'll spark a nice rivalry for the whole year.
Absolutely.
If they already had one. I mean,
that's fair. Yeah. I guess we can get into the division races. Do you guys want to start with the Atlantic? You want to finish with the Atlantic?
I want to finish with the Central.
Okay, cool. Then we'll start with the hometown division then. I think we're probably all in agreement that the 3 division playoff spots go to Tampa, Toronto, Boston, or no? Oh, Max got something
different. I've got something different there.
Okay.
I agree with Mac on that one.
So Nick and I are in agreement that the 3 probably don't change. Mac, tell me why you think it won't be Boston.
In my opinion, the offseason's the success for Tampa, Toronto, and Florida. All 3 teams have got substantially better. Obviously, Florida's brought in Bobrovsky, a couple defensemen, gained some depth up front. Plus, they've brought in Quenneville for a coach.
Right, that's huge. I think that's the biggest offseason pickup.
For sure. Between him and Bobrovsky, for sure. And you look at Boston, they've kind of lost depth. They lost Johansson. They lost Chari and one other guy down there. And you just don't think the team's as fast, and can Rask pull off another good season?
Yeah, Rask is a big one too.
They also went through like the same playoff round that the Blues did, but obviously didn't come up with the same success, right? So that'll put some wear and tear on you as well. Like
they went deep without coming out of there with anything, right?
So yeah, you talk about the championship hangover. I also think there might be a little one in being like the loser of that round, because you went all that way and you feel defeated a little bit. And no, absolutely, I agree that I think Boston was going to take a step back in Florida, especially bringing in Quenneville. That was huge right there. I think that was very kind of under the radar, but perfect move.
Yeah. No, I that's not saying I don't think Boston will make the playoffs still, but I just don't think they'll be that top 3.
That's fair. Which would be fantastic if you're a Leaf fan. I'm so sick of that matchup.
I mean, that's why I can't count them out. Like until the Leafs beat them. Like,
yeah, it's gonna keep on happening. This is where we're going to sit. We're going to watch the Leafs play 7 games with the Boston Bruins every single year until they beat them. So I don't disagree with Florida being a hell of a lot better. I just don't know if they're going to be what Boston is. Like Boston, like the one thing Boston does have that could hinder them is the fact that like Char is getting old and he's still probably your first pairing defender. Rask, you have no idea what that guy's going to be anytime he steps on the ice. And they are kind of aging. Like Bergeron's not as young as he once was. Like Marchand, is he going to be that Brad Marchand again? Maybe. But like without Bergeron firing all cylinders, you think that line looks as good as it does? I don't know. So there's always a chance that they drop out, and Florida's a lot better than they were last year.
Also with Florida, how many players have been there like through their system, like drafted, stayed, built in, like they are becoming a team together at same, and they were all young together, and I think that's really how you kind of make a force in the NHL. You build within and you keep them, and you build that system where they're just like they click with each other, man. Barkov and like I think Huberdeau's in the same line, but they don't even talk to each other, look at each other. It's just you're there. I know it.
The one thing this team's been missing too for years is a goalie. Like no disrespect to Roberto Luongo, but like they haven't had a consistent goalie. And not to say Bobrovsky is the most consistent goalie. Like there's years where he just forgets to show up, but like
there's also
years where he is easily the best goalie in the NHL.
So if he has that, I think that you're looking pretty good, and the team in front of them is going to be well coached and well disciplined. And I think I just think they could honestly be a 3rd place, even a 2nd place if some teams start to really just battle each other in this division.
Honestly, the one thing that's kind of not getting talked about right now if Freddie Anderson goes down, Toronto could easily be out of a playoff spot.
Yeah.
If he misses an extended amount of time, like they're not Tampa Bay. Like Tampa Bay lost Vasilevsky for what, a month and a half last year, and didn't even move.
And now they've got McElhinney.
Yeah. So, like, it's one of those things. Like Toronto doesn't have that defense core or backup situation that you can lose your starter and still stay in the hunt. Like they need to count on Freddie all year long, and that's tough to do, man.
I mean, I've had enough of the blue line slander.
Look, I've got nothing wrong with Toronto's blue line, but like defensively, like, do you think they're?
Yeah, I do. I mean, in that division, like you go Riley, Muzzin, Barry, CC, Sandine, Dermott. I'm probably only taking Tampa's D-core over that from the division.
Sure, as a whole, yeah. Defensively, though, like Riley's more offensive-minded.
Sure.
Barry's more offensive-minded. CC, you have no idea what CC is half the time. And then the only real defensive threat is Muzzin and maybe Sandine. Like Sandine's got the footwork and really good defensive skills, but
but their whole objective is to play with the puck, and I don't even know what you mean by defensive threat. It's not football. He's not sacking the quarterback.
Like he's not like defense. He's the only defensive-minded guy you have. Like outside of that, like, am I wrong on that?
I disagree. But since last year, I disagree with the Riley point. In his first few years, he struggled quite heavily on the defensive side. But I mean, since Babcock's been there, he's really focused on getting Riley, his defensive side of the puck a lot better, and it's kind of translated more towards his offensive game too.
And one thing Dodds always says is every player can play defense. It's a 5-man thing. So even if Riley isn't your most defensive-minded, you have 4 other players on the ice with them.
That's true.
Like look at the strides they made on the penalty kill, like with Marner, Kapanen, Hyman. Like all those guys are good defensive forwards now. They weren't before.
It's not just relying on your D-men to be defensive-minded. You have to rely on all 5 of them to do it.
I think you need to preach some sort of two-way game with a lot of these forwards, though. Like, that was the one thing I think they've been kind of missing for the last 2 years. Like, these guys are all really good offensively, but, like, a lot of them don't play much of a two-way game. Like, I know they all have the ability to do it. Like, Matthews is a beast. Like, the guy's huge. He can play defense when he wants to. Nylander's incredible with his stick work. He can strip the puck from anyone. Right, but when you don't have the puck, there needs to be some sort of urgency to be able to cover for your D-man.
But also, what do you mean by defense there? Like, Matthews and Nylander have been in the top 10 in takeaways the last 3 years.
What I mean. That's what I'm saying. Like, they do have that ability, but, like, you need to be, like, I feel like the coverage on your D-man isn't as great as it could be. Like, not just, like, the top line does a good job. Like, you get that they're my top line. Like, Marner's not my top. But, like, Matthews and Nylander, both really good at, like, on the defensive side. They both have the skills to do it. I just feel like from line 1 to line 4, you need to have like the urgency to cover for the guys, especially now with that mobile D-core you got in the back. There's going to be a lot of times where you need to have a little bit of coverage.
Freddie Gauthier, baby.
I think defensively their forwards have definitely improved. I mean, that Ilya Mikheyev kid that they picked up from Russia is an extremely great two-way player right now. Yeah. So is that Korshkov guy, and bringing Spezza, that veteran leadership up front, can really help the whole group.
What's Kerfoot? I haven't really looked at him.
He's good.
Kerfoot.
Two-way for sure.
Yeah.
Good wheels on the kid too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's good. Like
passes every time. I don't think he's taken a shot in his life.
No. He looked good in Colorado. Put up some big points in the playoffs. But
when Hyman gets back, if the line is Mikheyev or whatever, Kerfoot and Kapanen, that is fast.
Yeah,
very fast.
Do you move Cap down after Hyman gets back? If this works out, so say you have Kapanen up there, everything works out. Do you put Hyman back with that line?
I don't think it's going to work out.
Like 3 or 4 lines of just like people who can play a lot, like talent like that. I think you try it, putting him back there, and if it doesn't work, then they've got good line flexibility. I think they put themselves in that opportunity to be able to. I'm
kind of with you, Nick, a little bit that there's a chance that this doesn't work out.
I don't think it does. Like, I mean, Matthews straight up asked to not play with Kapanen anymore. Like, Kapanen's the king of carrying it into the zone and firing like a low percent shot on net from the top of the circle, while Matthews is painting the ceiling in the slot.
Caps.
I think that's coachable to get that out of your system, and like I think that if that's the case and he keeps doing it and you realize like, all right, you're realistically your top player or one of your top players is saying I don't even want to play with you anymore because of this, would you not then sit there and
But
go,
some people
hey,
are so hardwired in
I
their
need to
style.
change it?
Some people are just so hardwired in their style that like you're not going to change that
It's
quickly.
it's hockey IQ too, right? Like you got a guy like Matthews has, like he's obviously got the skill, but he's obviously got the hockey IQ to go with it.
Yeah.
Whereas Kapanen, he's got the speed, he's got the skill, but does he really have that hockey IQ to take it to the next level? And I think that's what's been holding him back for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
Amen.
All right, back to the division because we spent enough time on the Leafs.
I think we have a consensus that Tampa's.
Yeah, we know Tampa, Toronto. How many wildcard teams do you guys have coming out of this division?
I have Florida. Like I don't disagree
Florida?
with any of the points on Florida. I think they make it. I think they're just a wild card. I think Boston has the upper hand there. Okay. Experience.
I've got Boston and Montreal. I think this division's kind of like the Central Division of the Eastern Conference.
Tell me how you think Montreal's getting in the playoffs. That's where I'd like to.
Yeah, just their whole defensive side. You talk about how the Leafs are more of an offensive team. The Canadians kind of strive on that defensive side of the puck, especially with Carey Price back in net. I mean, if he has a healthy full year, he's going to carry them in the playoffs himself. So
who scores for that team?
I agree.
Domi, Drouin.
Come on.
No,
do you think Domi's going to be what Domi was last year?
I don't think anybody realizes that they finished 4 points behind the Leafs last year. Like,
I know they were good.
They were good,
like,
and
do you
weren't
not
good.
think like they were a lot of guys playing way above their capabilities?
I think Kotkaniemi gets way better. I think Suzuki scores for them. I think Domi does it again.
You think?
I think Drouin is traded.
Well, and they have Weber. They have Weber for a full healthy season now.
They got Carl
Shea
Olsen.
Weber at what, 30? How old is he now?
Look what he did last year, though.
Yeah,
I mean, it's already his best year.
He was rested. I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in Weber to be better than he was, or even what he was last year.
And I mean, he was still 35 points and running guys through the wall.
Yeah, sure. But like I don't know. At some point, I feel like he's got to slow down, and I feel like he's looking towards that age. I could be wrong.
I don't think that's this year though.
It's
all right.
Yeah,
it's so tough with tough with defensemen though, because like you look at Boston and you look at Chara, like he's 42, 43 years old.
Yeah,
now.
that's fair. Yeah. He just never.
I always thought that he'd be a step slow that like the year that we're on, and he somehow still hangs.
I guess he's never really been a guy that uses his footwork, right? Like he's not a speed. That's what I mean. So I guess that's kind of going for him in the sense that like he doesn't need to be quick to be good, and he never has been.
He's always been the slower. Like I'm this mammoth D man that just it's like because of my size, it disrupts your style play because you're not used to it, realistically.
Yeah, that's fair. And then, but the big thing for me is like Carey Price. If he's not Carey Price, that team doesn't win.
But if he is Carey Price,
right? But like, I don't know, man. I just don't have a lot of faith in Carey Price personally.
All right. Moving on. What about Buffalo?
Same old Buffalo. You get some interesting pieces, I think, but you don't ever turn it together because you're competing with the Tampas, the Torontos, the Floridas, the Bostons, like that. That just stops them right there. It's not that they make bad moves. They just don't ever get the big.
They're not enough.
They never get the big piece. Yeah,
they're not enough.
They're always the team to kind of like to go up against these guys, make it competitive, absolutely, but not have enough to win it consistently.
Yeah. And you look down their lineup, and they have good forwards, they have good D, but you look at their goalie, it's like how does Carter Hutton carry you into a playoff spot?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Carter Hutton. They had a steal this year when they traded Alex Nylander for Henry Yukihira or whatever he says.
Yukihira?
Yeah. I was actually upset with that one being a Blackhawks fan because I thought that kid is going to be a pretty good defenseman on that. And he's young, but then
I don't even think
there he goes off to Buffalo.
Nylander doesn't even make a difference on that team either, which is hilarious.
That's
I don't know.
Dude.
That guy's central, but
8 points on the top line in preseason. I think it's pretty hard to argue.
Okay, but it's not hard to put up points when you're on that top line.
Exactly. That's what he's going to be, though.
Interesting. He's
you
been a
didn't
bust
read
for
Matt's
time,
hot take then?
No, I read some of it, but I didn't read the whole thing.
Don't read it till the end.
Okay, I'll read it after.
I agree though. Like Buffalo's going to take a step forward, but like it's just not enough.
No,
I think Eichel has a big year though.
Yeah.
He's got to be hating his life there right now. Like,
yep,
he's going to do everything he can to Connor McDavid those guys into the wild card.
I think Dahlin steps up a little more too. Like, he was good last year. I think he probably takes another step forward, which would be huge to have on the back end.
Who's their goalie again?
Carter Hutton. Yeah. I
don't know.
I don't know what Carter Hutton you're going to get, because the start of the year last year, Carter Hutton was a Vezina candidate.
Well, he told Elliot Friedman in an interview this summer that he didn't realize how much work it was to be a starter. That's not a great quote from your starter.
Yeah, no. But does that change his way of thinking a bit? Like, do you go into the offseason thinking, shit, I need to figure out how to play this many games in a year?
Probably.
Absolutely. If you're trying to figure out how to be a starter in the end,
but do you think he comes into this year ready to be the starter?
Yeah, but you should have realistically been ready when he was in
Sure.
St. Louis. Like, why was he not ready to be a starter and take over from Jake Allen then? Like, there was no way that you're sitting there going, I'm forever going to back up Jake Allen. So why are you already not there?
That's fair. Yeah.
Like, why is he getting to Buffalo and now he's like, oh, I have to be a starter? Like, that's your mindset. Anyways.
You should.
I don't know many goalies that
I don't disagree.
And go, I want to be a backup, a lifelong backup. Like,
yeah. Do you want to talk about any of the other teams in the division? Ottawa's not really worth talking about.
Oh,
you mean T2?
You got someone to talk about in Ottawa? Because
Ottawa and Detroit are they've got a few exciting young pieces, but they're not going to make a splash in terms of playoffs. So
Detroit sent everybody.
Yeah, that's true.
Doesn't matter. They have a lot of exciting young pieces. They're just all playing in the AHL. They're going to be incredible this year. Yeah.
Anytime you guys want to make a trip down, let's
just take a trip to Grand Rapids.
Let's head on down.
We can watch it's the Calder, right? Yeah, we can watch the Calder. All right. You want to move on to the Metro then?
Sounds good. Mac, want to start us off?
Sorry.
The one thing I did read from Mac's piece was the one on Pittsburgh.
Yeah, no, but I completely agree though. Like, I noticed that nobody has Pittsburgh in our little document there. And
Mac wrote about it. Tell me about it, Mac.
Yeah, it's the biggest thing about Pittsburgh is, they have the top 6. They have the top 2D. They have a goalie that can be really good. It's whether he stays healthy or not, and it's how good the other teams in the division have got. It's kind of like the Boston situation. You got Washington, obviously, they're a perennial cup contender. They've got the depth in terms of the size and the strength.
Yep.
New Jersey, obviously, they got their MVP back. They got first overall pick in Jack Hughes. They got Nikita Gusev, who was the leading scorer in KHL for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And then they also picked up Subban, and then they already had a good decor behind them.
New Jersey's definitely going to be a lot better. That's one.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to take the Metro.
Yeah, and then you got Philadelphia, who's also, they've got their franchise goalie. Whether he can be that or not is still
that's a big question there
to be determined.
It's Philly, right? Like, you never know with Philly what they're actually their goaltending situation is going to be. No clue ever. Doesn't matter how good your goalie is coming in. You have no clue what that situation is.
I remember when they met Chicago in the Cup.
Yep.
And they had
Michael? Oh, and Michael Layton was backing up at one point. Yeah.
Well, he had to become the starter of that series because their goalie got hurt. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Just a mess, that whole thing.
But their goalies have never. Yeah.
That's it's wild that they've actually won games with the goalie situation that they've had. But yeah, that's a big quick Carter Hart. I think he looks like the real deal.
The only thing that makes me worried about Philly is that they gave Kevin Hayes
a lot of money
and a lot of years for not a lot of great plays or great upside. I think that might actually hurt them a lot. Putting him out and justifying his $7 million, I think it was, or just over.
Yeah.
For being
I think
time.
People in Philly are gonna think that he's a Broad Street bully, and then they're gonna see him play and realize how soft he is, even though he's 6'5".
Yeah.
It's not gonna go well.
5'6", he's no.
The tough thing with this division is that because the teams in the Atlantic, they get to play Ottawa and Detroit more than any other team in the league. They've got some real easy wins coming out.
Yeah.
This one, it's the other 3 teams. You got Columbus, who's probably going to be shit. I'm assuming they're not going to be good. But then you have the Islanders, who you don't really know. I know they lost Leonard.
They don't give up a lot of goals.
They're going to be good. No, but they are also missing. Varlamov can carry a team. He's done it in Colorado.
And Grace had really good numbers last year.
Yeah. when they split it, like it could be good. And then the Rangers, I think, are going to be pretty good this year.
Better than people expect, but not great.
Yeah, I think they're competing for that second wild card spot if they play to their potential.
I think even maybe
nobody mentioned Carolina here. I got them.
And then exactly.
I almost think that they're a shoo-in to be like second, third in that division. I think they're that good.
Yeah, I agree. I noticed Mac didn't have them in there.
I did notice Mac also didn't.
I have him in fourth.
Fourth? Like a close fourth?
Yeah, pretty close. Just missing out.
I think they were good last year, and it wasn't just a fluke. I think the Islanders were a fluke.
They have a good.
I think they got better.
Yeah, they have a good system, and their players work well in that system. And they brought in Jake Gardner, which is
he's hurt.
Yeah, and then
problems.
They did ship out Justin Falk, which I thought was kind of like you knew it was coming, but they brought back a D-man in his place, which
forward.
Edmondson.
Edmondson.
Edmondson's the only one that's NHL ready. Am I wrong?
No. Yeah, Buck's probably a couple years away.
Yeah,
he'll be good. But
but as of right now, like you shipped out he was on their second pairing.
I mean, if Gardner's healthy, Edmondson is their seventh defenseman.
Yeah. If Gardner's healthy?
I think Gardner kind of takes that.
He's got back issues.
Yeah.
Where he was. I think that's what they're gonna. Maybe not as well, but I mean.
Hayden Fleury in the lineup?
Yeah.
I haven't looked. Is he?
Yep.
Yeah, that decore's deep as shit. They always have been.
I mean, and they still have like Jake Bean in the AHL. He puts up like 30 goals every year.
Jake Bean's gross.
Yeah.
And Aho,
that's
obviously because of
their forward system kind of scares me. Like they don't have
Aho that cheap.
Sure, Aho's deal incredible. That's going to do wonders for them down the stretch. But like, where's their depth after that? You got Svechnikov,
Teravainen.
Yeah, like how many of these names are you like? Oh yeah, first line guys.
Jordan Stahl, baby.
Oh,
Captain Jordan.
Yeah, I think they're going to be good. I don't know if they put them second in the division. That's a little much, but
really,
I think they should compete with this division. But that's the thing, though. That's
Dzingel went there. That's not too bad.
Yeah,
that's a pretty.
I still think Mrazek's a big question mark there.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Like last year, Mrazek was good. Yes, that's the first year Mrazek's ever been good.
But I mean, look at the goalies in this division. You got Holtby, but then you have question mark in Carolina, question marks in New York Islanders. Lundqvist is getting old on the Rangers. Schneider, who knows what Schneider is?
Or Blackwood.
Blackwood looked good when he was healthy last year.
Yeah, but Schneider looked good in the World Championships this fall, and he didn't win a game in a year before that.
NHL. So I mean,
and then Carter Hart's a question mark in Philly, and Matt Murray is always injured in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's fair.
Every team in that division has goalie questions except for Holtby.
Yeah,
I think.
Well, that's the one thing with this division I was trying to get at before. It was like they're all around the same thing. There's a lot of teams that are going to beat the shit out of you. There's only one that's kind of a walk. Like I don't even know if Columbus is really that bad, but they're just not as good as everyone else. So it's like
I think they're only bad because you're essentially the 3 stars, 4 stars, even if you're on that team.
Yeah,
minus Seth Jones, but
trying to compete for that second wild card spot when you're playing all these other teams as opposed to playing these 2 bottom feeders in the Atlantic. It's tough. It's going to be a tough year for all of them, in my mind.
Especially Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh's going to be as bad as people think just because, like, you still have Sidney Crosby. You still have Evgeny Malkin.
Well, what Sidney Crosby do you have?
He's been the Sidney Crosby of a while.
Is he still the one that is still the one too that want to take it? They can turn on absolutely.
Have you seen that man? That man breathes hockey.
Crosby's not my worry there. My worry is Brandon Tanev and Alex Galchenyuk on Malkin's line. My worry is Jack Johnson and Eric Goodbranson on the second pair.
They're trading Jack Johnson. So there's that.
For what? You put 20-round pick?
Cares who you trade for him. What'd you say, Mike?
20. I just who are you going to put into a spot after that? Like they don't really have any depth in the minors.
Depth atrocious. That's fine. But
they have worn out their prospects. They've given up their picks. I don't think they have anybody coming. I mean, it's Crosby and Malkin, and that's it.
Because of it. So I mean, are they really disappointed by it? Probably not. No, I mean, this is the years where you're like, well, fuck, we earned them. We'll get it in 10 years.
Gensel's gross too. We left him out.
Gensel is gross. I figured, yeah.
But they also have Cahoon playing on with Crosby and Gensel.
Yeah.
So.
Like, you put anyone on Crosby's line. Realistically, I don't know how gross Gensel is outside of Crosby's line, because you put Crosby with anyone and he makes them look good. Like, he made Sheary money in Buffalo. Yeah, he gave Chris Kunitz an Olympic gold medal.
Stanley Cup.
So I mean, three Stanley Cups, right? He was on the first team too.
He's on the team.
He was there for the first run, I'm pretty sure.
He was there for the first one, but he wasn't there for the second or third. I don't think. Maybe the second. Not the third.
I think he was there for 2 and then left.
Yeah.
Really? Okay. For the third?
One of the ones that.
Okay.
The third one was all about Ron Hainsey and Brian Dumoulin.
Well, that decor is the most impressive decor to ever win a fucking Stanley Cup. I love it. So yeah, do you have Pittsburgh in there? No. Neither of you do either. All right. How many wildcard teams from the Metro?
I have 0.
None.
I have Philly.
Yeah, I'm with Mac. I don't think any. I think they both probably come out of maybe one.
I got the.
But
wait, who'd you say out of the Atlantic?
Tampa, Toronto, Boston, Florida, and I don't want to say Montreal.
You're short a team here, so you might as well agree with me and throw Philly.
The fact that, like, I don't even.
Why not? Why would you say the Rangers though? Like
that's what I'm thinking. Like, it's more.
That's where that pick.
I think it's a battle between Montreal and New York. So maybe there's a chance
Rangers.
I have this one. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Not the Islanders. I think the Islanders are not legit. But
you just never know with Barry Trotz. He's never had a. When was the last time he had a losing record? I mean, he's always had good teams, but still.
2003.
Good systems coach,
yeah, seriously.
Together, and like the people underneath them run their systems well, right? So it makes sense. Yeah, I'll give it 1 just to say the Rangers probably make it over the Canadians, but that's it. On to the West, the Pacific Division.
Pacific.
Tell me about it, Nick.
I mean, I got Vegas winning it.
Okay.
I think San Jose's good. I don't think they're as good as they were when they had Pavelski. I think that's a big loss for them.
That is huge.
Just leadership-wise, on the ice, everything.
Did they bring anyone in to replace him? Not really.
No, they didn't. They didn't have money by the time they signed.
They're broke.
Myers on a great deal.
I'm gonna say that.
LeBank's getting $1 million to put up 65 points.
LeBank's one of the best deals in the NHL.
Yeah, Joe Thornton getting paid big amount. I don't know. But then third in that division, I'm going Arizona.
Yeah, that's wild. Why?
I mean, I just
look. I love Arizona.
Split screened my computer today, Calgary, Arizona, and I realized that I don't know anything about David Riddick. I don't think he's good, and I just
don't think David Riddick's good.
I think last year was a fluke.
The only thing that concerns me about Arizona is that Antti Ranta is great when healthy. Not really all that healthy.
Would you even say that David Riddick is great when he's healthy though?
He has been great, but he's also been absolute dog shit.
Exactly.
Like Mike Smith stole the job back from him, so like
I
disagree with you. I don't think Calgary's going to be what they were last year.
I don't either. I think Giordano takes a step back because I mean you can't really go higher than a Norris. Brody's been getting worse.
He wins 2 Norrises this year.
Yeah, at 38 or something.
Yeah.
I think Arizona takes a step forward. I mean, their top line is now Keller, Kessel, and Stepan. Like, that's a legit first line. Their decor's old, but it's good. Like,
well, you got Chikrin and other guys coming up too.
Yeah,
and just the rebuttal, the goalie fact. I mean, Kemper played 55 games last year and a 2.33 goals against average and 9.25 save percentage.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, but that's the thing though. Like, if your argument is Ranta's going to come back and win you some games, I don't know if that's the case, because they won games and it wasn't because it wasn't in spite of their goaltending.
I don't really feel confident with anything else other than that top line. Like, you need more than just one line now, though. That's where they don't.
They're just that team.
They don't like.
They do have some depth though. Like, Richardson's their fourth line center. He had 20 last year. You got Dvorak, you got Fisher, you got Krause, you got.
They're just like, you don't hear about any of these names because they're in Arizona.
Yeah.
They have that thing they've done it the last 2 years where they're horrible out the gate, and like they're in the middle, and then all of a sudden they turn it on and they're one of the best teams in the NHL for a stretch. And it's like,
I mean, they were close last year.
If you could manage to do that for most of the year, they'd have a playoff spot, no problem.
Well, they finished fourth last year, didn't they?
I believe so. They were close. They were battling for that playoff spot in the last 2 weeks of the season. I remember that. But like,
I mean, also, not that this should factor in too much, but Calgary is literally like $5 below the cap. So if they're struggling out of the gate, they're not getting anybody at the deadline. Arizona, they could get every team's best player
if they have the money. Like, they have the cap space, but it's
the
cap space is never the problem with Arizona. They do have Phil Kessel, which
I don't know though. Like,
Phil Kessel's but he's a perennial 70-point scorer at least.
Okay.
I mean, problem or not, he won 2 cups in Pittsburgh, so he's obviously not that big of a problem.
I mean, to the point where your star is saying, "Don't put him on my line. If you don't trade him, then I'm gone."
He also said that was false, but
what do you mean?
He came out and said like, "No, I never said that. Don't give me that." Like Malkin straight up said, he's just like, "No, that never happened." Like, him and Phil got along, man. Like, I don't know where all this narrative came from. Like,
anybody who gets you 40 assists, you get along with.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm not gonna request a trade for a guy who pulls shit like that.
It's almost the same thing as when he came. Well, not the same thing, but like when he came to Toronto. But like, he's required to almost do more now. He's more responsibility.
Sure.
He's now
kind of like he did with the Leafs.
Which is what?
Kind of like he did with the Leafs.
That's what I just said. Like, but it's not the same situation because he's not expected to be like the only leader there. There are other like pieces, but now you're putting more pressure on him to succeed with less talent on his line. Like,
yeah, but I mean, is there even a reporter in Arizona that's going to ask him about that? Like,
nope. That's the perfect spot for Phil. Phil can be a piece of shit and no one will notice.
He's going to work on that beach bod and away we go.
Have nice lines under his beer gut. Perfect.
He can make his own like hot dog company or something. Just come out at the end, make his own little brand of hot dogs.
When he's retired.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Sponsor the NHL with him. It'll be great.
Phil's Franks.
Phil's Thrills.
What?
The thing,
Brandon.
What?
Calgary, Arizona. Where are you on that?
Who do you got? Arizona, Calgary.
I like Calgary a little better. I think they have more talent through their roster than Arizona does. Just more like proven talent. The thing that worries me them is they took on Milan Lucic. I don't know why. I get James Neal was maybe not James Neal, but not good. But Milan Lucic is not better.
Lucic only has 1 year left or 2 years left.
At least 2, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's not that many years left, but like I think that was the big thing. It's less than James Neal, and I think they know they fucked up with James Neal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm taking my chances with James Neal over Lucic.
Well, absolutely. But
Lucic has gone down 10 points every year for the last 5 years.
Neal has had 1 bad season in the last 5. Lucic just had 5.
Yeah.
So
I
thought it was an interesting deal too.
I know that probably I don't expect all their players to be as close in points as they were. They're all kind of getting ridiculous. We talked about last year. I think it's goals or they were all really close in points. I believe at one point they were all like 50 points together at the same time when we talked about it last year.
Yeah.
Go back and look at it. But
also, Elias Lindholm has to regress.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the
he played out of his mind last year.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. I have more confidence in that.
That was my biggest regret last year. I took Pacioretty over Lindholm in a pool, and because it was one of those it was a write-in pick, and I'm like, all right, Pacioretty, and I'm like, I had Lindholm written down, crossed him out, and put Pacioretty. I lost the pool by 2 points. I'm like, fuck.
My thing between Calgary and Arizona is there were 21 points between them last year, and then either of them make that much of a change.
Not a 21-point swing.
Yeah.
Right. That's where I have Calgary over Arizona.
Shit, that's a good point.
I didn't even I was on your side, Nick, until that one.
Give me another chance.
And then
let me just rewrite this.
Calgary had a 62 plus goal differential, and Arizona had a -10. I mean, Kessel maybe closed that gap a little bit, but
not
I don't know. Calgary didn't really digress that much. So
I just think the goaltending situation is a big factor, though,
for both teams.
Yeah. So, but like
talk
you kind of have an idea of what you're getting in Arizona. I'll talk about it in a sec. But like you have an idea of what your goaltending situation is in Arizona. Calgary, it's like you really don't know. That's the only difference there. But do you want to talk about Edmonton?
Oh no, I want Mac to talk about Edmonton.
Okay,
Yeah,
Mac,
talking about Edmonton. I don't know. You got James Neal playing with Connor McDavid, so I mean his fantasy value went up.
Isn't he with Nuge?
I saw him playing with McDavid pretty much the whole preseason, so I don't know if that maybe changed now, but
maybe hockeylinecombinations.com lied.
I mean, we'll never know it.
Aren't they going to have Nuge on the wing in about a week anyways because they don't have any other forward depth?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they got Mike Smith as a goalie now, so maybe that will help. But again, he's super old.
Just sink them. You never know. Mike Smith is one of the streakiest goalies I've ever seen.
Yeah. I mean, he can't be worse than Cam Talbot.
Yeah. Well, he almost carried Phoenix to a Stanley Cup the one year, which was nuts.
He was good in Tampa.
He's also buried people, so I mean...
Yeah, then he got big money Calgary and just flopped.
Yeah.
Lost his job.
Yeah.
Rick.
And then took it back for playoffs.
Yeah. Took it back.
Playoff Mike Smith, man. The guy's a different animal.
Yeah.
And then lost in 5 games, but that's okay.
Yep. Yeah, we don't mention that.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, McDavid, he'd be my heart pick. I think he's going to lead the league in scoring. It's just not enough. Like, you got to feel bad for the guy at this point. Like,
for his entire career so far.
Draisaitl is amazing too, but the 2 guys don't win you anything.
I haven't really watched Edmonton's preseason. Does McDavid look like McDavid?
McDavid looks like McDavid. Everybody else looks like Edmonton's everybody else.
Yeah. But like, does he look healthy? Like, is his knee back?
So he goes.
Yeah.
He goes to the rink.
Yeah.
He has his little private practices and outside wander over there. And I checked some and.
He works in Newmarket. If you didn't know that, he's at the rink.
A couple times, and I just go and watch it. And he was so fast. His dad was just missing everything on him, to where like you could see Con just frustrated to slow down and like had to go. But his knee looked
fine.
He's gaining confidence back on it. I think he didn't really know how much he could push it yet, and especially because he didn't go the surgery route. I don't think you really know yet like what's your max at until you actually get there, and so you make that same move that took you out of that same. So.
5 cents.
Yeah, that's it for my ideas.
Yeah. Sorry. We're multitasking. Steelers game. It's not pretty.
Yeah.
That's not
pretty. Perfect streak to keep going. So.
I mean, I think Anaheim, LA, just resounding no's.
You know what? I like the only thing I want to say about Anaheim is there's a strong chance that John Gibson like gives that team some wins, which kind of sucks for them.
I think they should trade him now.
Sure, there's a lot of value in that kid, but
especially if you're gonna be
like he's young enough.
He's gonna take them out of contention for like a top 3 pick, or like good like a lottery being in the top 3 lottery.
Within his either his contract or his age, that he will be the goalie for Anaheim when they're ready to.
He's only what? He's still in his 20s. Am I wrong?
Yeah, early 20s.
Yeah, like he's not that old.
It's crazy how good that team looks on paper, though. You still have Getzlaff, you have Troy Terry and Sam Steele coming up, along with Maxime Comtois. You still got defensemen on that team, like Cam Fowler's disgusting.
They're not that far off. I don't think.
I think they're in Flyers territory.
Yeah.
Where they're not good enough to go. They're in Flyers territory.
Yeah.
They're not good enough to go. They're not good enough to tank.
Yeah.
I mean, also Daniel Sprong on waivers is questionable.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Sprong on waivers?
Yeah.
Sprong is not. I don't think Sprong is as good as people think he is.
Just looking at their team,
I mean, clearly not.
An interesting team in that division is Vancouver, though.
Oh, I totally forgot.
I forgot about that.
I mean, they've got a solid defensive, like decor. Plus, I mean, if Markstrom struggles and Thatcher Demko comes in,
their goalie tandem's okay. It's young and looks really good.
Yeah, and then you've also got Besser, Pedersen, Bo Horvat, JT Miller came in this year. Quinn Hughes is coming into the league for a full year.
The big thing with that team for me is who scores. Like, yes, Pedersen, Besser. Outside of that,
Horvat, JT Miller, Jake Virtanen,
you're expecting JT Miller to be a what? a 20 goal scorer, maybe 25.
I mean,
he was
better
on a
than
line with
Eriksson
Pedersen
or whoever they had last year.
He was playing with Pedersen and Besser in the preseason.
Was he?
Yeah.
So okay, so he scores a little more, but that's your one line. Like the depth there is not the prettiest. That's the only thing I see with them.
Take in that they have so much money spent on like their fourth line of Eriksson and Beagle and all those guys that they had to put Berchi on waivers today.
Seriously?
Berchi had almost 30 goals back-to-back years, and now he's on waivers.
If he doesn't get claimed, that's impressive.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
You think
There's
Nick
been
Petan
no
gets
waiver
claimed?
claims. Who?
Nick Petan?
I think he should.
I think someone take a
though.
flyer on him. Like he had a good preseason.
Why doesn't Ottawa or Columbus, somebody like that?
Ottawa should make so many waiver claims. Just try it out. Who cares?
Yeah, but you want to save up because you have your order, right?
Yeah.
And if you blow it the first day, all of a sudden McDavid's on waivers because he hates Edmonton. Don't get him.
David's on waivers. That'll be the day. We didn't miss any other teams in the Pacific, did we?
LA.
Do you want to talk about LA?
I think they might
be bad.
Do better than last year, but
not
good.
They might be fourth last?
I think
I think Kopitar and Doughty have to bounce back.
Kopitar definitely. Doughty, I don't know, man. I think Doughty got exposed a little bit.
Doughty was still 50 points last year, though.
Yeah, he scored.
But defense, he was still in minus, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was not pretty last year.
34.
Yeah.
What's the deal in net? Like every fantasy draft I did, Jack Campbell was ranked ahead of Quick.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
Who did they have? Have they said who they're starting? Do we know?
I don't know. Not the
Jonathan
Quick's
Quick's not Jonathan Quick anymore.
I mean, it might have been because over 31 games, Jack Campbell had a 230 goals against average, so there might be more hope than Quick's. What do you have? Like a.
That was a quick little search. I like that.
Absolutely.
He's good at it.
Quick had Quick had a 338 in 46 games.
What was
it down on that one?
888.
So,
I mean, I might.
That's not nice.
A bit.
I don't like that. But, I mean, wasn't Quick hurt a lot last year? Am I wrong?
Quick's hurt a lot always.
But like, didn't he have something like major at one point?
Yeah, I think he was out for quite a bit of time last year.
That's a big question mark for LA because like there's not much protecting that. Like their defensive core has just been blown up.
They finished last in the division last year and they didn't add anything. So
no.
I think another year or two though, and they could be decent. Like they do have some prospects.
Kalev and Turcotte.
Yeah. Couple own sound boys.
Draft, though, right?
Carl Grunstrom. Kopitar's winger.
Jersey.
Yeah.
Grunstrom got in games down the stretch last year, right? Like he played.
Yeah, like he did good.
Should that not be saying something?
He would have been our perfect fourth line winger. Shout out Freddie Gauthier.
Dude, Goat looks good. What
are you talking about?
You see him skating this year?
That's because he's skating beside Spezza. Spezza's 55 years old.
Dude, there's been times in the preseason though where Goats looked like he's keeping up with other teams now, which is like something he couldn't do before.
Ottawa? We played Ottawa and Detroit. That's saying a lot.
He kept up with Montreal. Montreal's supposed to be quick.
You were just bashing Montreal for 5 minutes.
Yeah, but they're supposed to be quick. I don't have a lot of faith in the back.
You were saying how Shea Weber can't even skate anymore. Now you're saying Gauthier looks fast beside him.
Well, not beside Weber, but beside other guys. I just think he looks better on his feet than he has. You might be right about the fact that we played shit teams, and yeah.
It's bad that when we do our LA Kings preview, we end up on Gauthier.
Yeah. Always end up on the.
You know it's a bad year coming.
Let's get out of that division and let's move on to probably the best division in hockey in the Central Division.
Definitely.
Brandon, who you got winning it?
I don't even know, man. It's such a toss-up. I just think that Nashville might have made some good moves around to help them back.
Right here?
Yeah, that's better.
That's what we want.
I don't know. Yeah, I just always that one was a real big toss. Even Dallas, though, I thought Dallas got a lot scarier. And Ben Bishop.
Corey Perry?
Yeah, I mean he's injured, but is that Pavelski?
Everybody's on the Dallas hype train, but like
talking about how Pavelski was a big loss for San Jose, so wouldn't that mean that he's kind of a big gain in the leadership category with Dallas? So that right there, Ben Bishop was a Vezina candidate, so he's already proven that he can beat Ben Bishop again.
That's the first time Ben Bishop's been a Vezina candidate in a long time.
Exactly. So like,
but
I mean, not to bash Dallas, like we all have them making the playoffs.
Yeah,
but I think they.
So.
my thing is, where do they go after the top two lines?
Nashville or
No,
Dallas?
Dallas.
Rookie Hints.
He's in the second line.
Jason Dickinson.
Exactly.
I'm running out of names.
Corey Perry.
Scotty Upshaw. Nope.
Your top line, like Jamie Benn was not Jamie Benn last year.
Jamie Benn was Jordy Benn last year.
Yeah. So like, is Jamie Benn gonna regress again?
Nah.
If that's a thing, that's frightening.
I know Hansel's injured, but I just don't know how. I mean, they got some. I think if Corey Perry comes back healthy and is playing okay, Joe Pavelski. I think they made some good.
I think Pavelski's a real good ad. Perry, you can't really sell me on.
He's very slow.
Yeah.
So
all he does is spear guys.
I mean,
your third line is Radek Faxa, Andrew Cogliano, Blake Como.
Yeah.
That looks like fun. Fourth line, I don't even know who Dowling's first name is. Janmark and Gurionov.
Yeah.
Right.
The back end's pretty good. Like Klingberg and Heiskanen, Lindell and Sekera. It's pretty
Roman
good.
Roman
Polak is your second pairing right defenseman.
Yeah.
I mean,
they got Steven Johns coming back from injury too.
Yeah.
Okay. Is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Unreal.
I mean,
so good.
Their defense looks good.
Good.
I don't mind that defense.
Penny's brother's always really good. Jamie Oleksiak.
Yeah. He's
he always shows up.
the best thing about him, he's 6'8" every time he steps on the ice.
Exactly. Yeah. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, their decor is good. I don't have either one of those two teams winning the division, but I think Colorado's
what's
just
the second team?
I have
Nashville or Dallas. I think Colorado's better than both those two teams. Yeah.
You have Philip Grubauer winning the division.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Look at their backup pool.
You know who their backup is?
Who is no?
I don't even know his name. Pavel.
Who cares?
Franklin.
That's fine. He's gross.
Oh,
They're gonna score. They're gonna score.
Philip has never been a starter goalie. Like
he'll figure it out. Didn't he start down the stretch for? He definitely started down the stretch for Colorado.
Varlamov took a lot of games last year,
and then was absolute garbage in the second half.
But they kind of both were until playoffs.
Who had the last month and a half when they went on that stretch where they won like a shit ton of games?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it was Grubauer, but I could be wrong. Cale Makar is a big reason why I think that team.
Varlamov last year?
Awful.
Or was it there?
Yeah, he was there. He was just awful.
Their defensive depth isn't that great.
No,
it's not the worst.
It's not, but it's never really that great.
I mean,
Sam Girard, I think, Johnson, Zadorov.
Girard, a lot depends on what Girard's going to do. I think Girard takes a step, especially playing with Cale Makar. I mean, you're going to look good. Zadorov and Johnson, like Johnson's always been a solid D-man. That's just kind of like he's not an elite D-man, but like
I really question those pairings though. Like you put your two puck movers with your two guys who can't move the puck to save their lives.
Yeah,
but they just all their forwards move the puck well, right?
Yeah, Kadri's a big ad for them.
Yeah,
that gives their second line legitimate scoring.
Your second line is Kadri, Yost, and Donskoy.
Donskoy's a big ad too.
Yeah. So I mean, like their forward depth is nice, man. Like you got McKinnon, Landy, and Rantanen, like on your first line. That was the best line in the NHL. Don't tell me otherwise. Last year, easily. Who you put ahead of them?
Yeah, I'm kidding. You're good.
Yeah. Thanks. And then Kadri, like Yost has not been what you hope he could be, but he's been good. He's good enough. He's good enough to be your second line left winger.
He's also 21 years old, so I'm not really going to close the book on him yet.
Exactly. So, and then you get Donskoy. Donskoy's a solid player in San Jose. He's going to be good here. And then you got Kempfer, Nieto, Burakovsky as your third line.
Not even bad.
Yeah. No. And then Belmar, Colin Wilson, and Matt Calvert. You got
maybe
Nichushkin.
Nichushkin. Yeah.
They're they're going to be good. I don't think this is their year. I think this division's too good. And I mean, give them another 2 years for Makar, Gerard, everybody to develop. You let Bowen Byram get in there. You get Alex Newhook in there. That was a steal in the draft. And I think they need another 2 years to really win that division.
Before, too.
I mean, as we prefaced it.
Astros also really good.
Yeah, this is the best division in hockey. I don't see that young team taking it.
Realistically, I think any one of these teams could win it. Would you be that surprised if any of them did?
Chicago.
Yeah, right.
I don't know how. You both probably have Chicago. Do you even play Chicago in a playoff spot?
No.
I do.
I don't. No. I know you do.
I do. Because Patrick Kane is...
Yeah, okay, but Patrick Kane was Patrick Kane last year. And did they get that much better?
If you're going to talk about how Robin Leonard was able to split goaltending time and be a Vezina candidate, I think he's probably about to do the same in Chicago. So you take the load off Corey Crawford and you put really two...
you take the load. You take everything off of Corey Crawford because that guy's not an NHL goalie anymore.
Average goalies. And
that's a bold statement.
Man, like he hasn't gotten it done. He's been spinning in his head because he's got vertigo at some point there, and he couldn't actually play. Like he was gonna end his career at one point.
Here comes Dr. Brandt.
Yeah, well, that's why he missed time. What do you want me to tell you? But like he's not Corey Crawford anymore. Am I wrong?
The last time Corey Crawford had vertigo was 2014. The next year he had his best year in his career and won a Stanley Cup.
So the vertigo fixes his career is what you're telling me. So he's going to come back and win the Vezina is what you're telling me?
He's going to win the Master Test.
I don't know. From the back end, it was their biggest issue last year. Delia was their starting goalie basically because Crawford was out. Yeah. This year you have a healthy Crawford. You have a Leonard who was a Vezina Trophy candidate last year.
How long do you have healthy Crawford?
It doesn't matter. You have Leonard as your backup.
Okay. All right. Is Leonard what Leonard was last year?
Even if he's not, he's still better
than Crawford.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fair.
You brought in Mata, DeHaan, and Gustafson in his second full year. And Gustafson put up, 62 points last year? Ridiculous to the back.
Mata's overrated as shit, though.
I think that was a good move, though.
Big trade, but overrated as shit.
Well, I mean, it's better than putting up Brent Seabrook out there on your...
Yeah, that's fair.
Keith still can put up huge minutes and put up plus numbers. As slow as he may be getting, he's still smart.
Mm-hmm.
He can also work like a dog. You also have Shaw back, Zach Smith coming over, that kid from Germany, Dominic Kubelik, and you also got Kirby Dack maybe coming in, and then Strome in the full season with the Hawks.
I think Strome is what Strome was with the Hawks.
He could put up a point per game once he came over.
I think. Oh, he was gross when he came over. Yeah.
I don't think he takes a step back.
No.
Right.
Playing with DeBrincat again.
Yeah.
That's a ridiculous combination.
So, do you both have them ahead of Winnipeg?
I do not. I have them losing to Winnipeg in the wild card game.
Questions in Winnipeg right now. You might lose Dustin Byfuglien. If Dustin Byfuglien comes back, you do not have money for all of your players.
You do. You have just enough to.
No.
They have. And that put them. They literally gave them enough. No, it gave them enough. I'm telling you right now,
it makes them like $700,000 over.
Yeah. I just read the tweet that put them at literally.
I'm glad Twitter is your main source for information.
All right, man. Okay. You can look it up. They literally left themselves enough for Dustin Byfuglien.
Go call Kevin Cheveldayoff off and get back to us.
Okay, they literally left themselves enough for Dustin Byfuglien.
No, they had 6.8 and they paid him 7.1.
Yeah, they did not leave.
I'm telling you right now, they made moves to put enough space for Dustin Byfuglien.
Maybe if they put Little on LTIR after last night.
Yeah, right now, they have $4.6 million of cap space, according to CapFriendly.com.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah,
that's without Byfuglien. Thank you.
Thank you, Brant. All right.
There's 4.6.
So we'll just turn his mic off for the remainder and talk.
Thanks for coming out, Brant. It was good.
I'm telling you right now, they have enough room to fit him in. They just need to move some stuff around.
That's a big guy. He's not going to fit.
Basically like saying Luke Voigt would get 40 home runs.
Oh my dude!
Yes,
if he was healthy, he still hit what 25?
Oh, close.
20. He hit what 20? Okay, he had 25 in a year where he missed like at least 40 games.
He missed exactly 40 games.
Oh, look at me go, eh? So you're telling me he's healthy?
In terms,
that's a conversation for a different time.
Yeah. And in terms of the Winnipeg Jets, I don't know. Even if Bufflin does come back, your second pairing still Neil Pionk and Dmitry Kulikov.
Read right there. Sorry, just that little bit. However,
projected 7.716 million in cap space.
Right.
Doesn't factor in Dustin Bufflin, which literally brings it.
They don't have
so they have 7.7 in cap space, and his cap hit is 7.6.
No, they don't have the money.
They don't.
Did that not just say they have 7.7?
No. This is good radio.
Sorry.
No, and $7.6 million.
I mean, I just have more faith in Hellebuck in net and Winnipeg's forwards than Chicago.
Hellebuck bad.
I think
Hellebuck was brutal last year.
He was so bad, but he was still good 2 years before. It was just like he was just so bad last year.
I just don't see how that forward group. I don't see them missing the playoffs. And for me, Chicago's the odd team out.
But how can you be that bad in net with that good of a defensive core in front of you?
How can you have Corey
Tyler
Crawford
Myers really that good?
Tell me you're better than the Winnipeg Jets.
How is Corey Crawford the for sure starter? The for sure
because they're loyal and it's stupid.
They've got a goalie tandem.
They're loyal. They fired Quinville. They traded half their team after every cup win. Where did loyalty come into
Crawford?
If he starts game one, that doesn't mean that he'll be the legitimate.
Don't tell me they're not.
That he's just the game one starter.
Don't tell me they're not loyal. They're still running Duncan Keith and Brent Seabrook out there like they're still one.
Nobody else wants Brent Seabrook.
Then
scratch a Robida Island him.
You probably could if you try hard enough. They're loyal. Don't give me. They're loyal to the cup winners.
No ocean.
Do anyone else?
Minnesota. Let's talk about Minnesota. They're sweet.
The most boring team in the NHL.
Why don't they rebuild? Like, how can they look at this division for the last 5 years?
So much money on Parise and Suter.
They just
I don't care. Buy them out. Like, how can you look at the rest of this division and not rebuild?
You're gonna buy out
signed Spurgeon for $7 million a year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're
not done making dumb moves yet. They've already.
Was it Fenton that re-signed him, or was it?
No, it was Guerin.
Was it Guerin?
Yeah,
he is very underrated though.
Bill Guerin?
He is, but
no, Spurgeon.
I mean, they're just giving out money to guys who are getting older because that's what happens, and they're not. I don't know.
I get, they need to rebuild, but when you've got so much money locked up in two guys that you can't buy out because those contracts go on forever, it's tough, man. Like, you need to try and win now, but you can't win now in this division because you're not even close now.
They're the worst team in the division.
Yeah,
and it's not even that. It's not even that they're awful. It's just that division's so good that they're going to get slapped around.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they're close to being a good team.
They rely a lot on Devin Dubnyk though as well.
Sure,
starting in
who's getting old.
But he was just taking what did he play? He played 67 games. I'm almost positive that led the NHL.
Yeah.
So you expect him to go another 67 at a 2.5 ERA and
ERA. Cross podcasting.
That goes against average. But I don't think so.
I doubt it.
Especially with that division getting that much better, they're gonna just pepper him with shots. And
I honestly thought Mikko Koivu was Saku Koivu's older brother, and he's still playing. So I guess he's not, but he's old.
Oh, pretty sure
he's not good. That's a tough first line center.
Yeah, they're not great. They're a good team, but they're not
Donato
great.
Could be
that
good.
Division, you have to be great. That's the problem. Ryan Donato could be good offensively, can't play defense.
They're just putting in the wrong spots, I think.
They're bad.
So
bottom line is they're bad.
I mean, that wraps up all our playoff teams. Do we want to give a little Stanley Cup prediction here?
I mean, we didn't talk about the defending Stanley Cup champs, St. Louis Blues.
Literally skipped the Blues.
It's pretty obvious they're going to make the playoffs again. I think they're going to be strong right from the start. Can Binnington do what he did last year? I don't think so, but he's still going to be good enough to carry them to the playoffs.
I'm going to give you a little Brant verified Twitter stat here. St. Louis has the lowest % chance of any team in the last 25 years to repeat a Stanley Cup win. I don't know why, but there was this guy that tweets numbers.
The worst team in the NHL at one point.
But even with the addition of Justin Falk, for Joel Edmondson, that.
Yeah, you did take a healthy scratch and turned him into a second pairing defender.
Robert Thomas going to be sneaky good with more minutes this year.
Fabry's healthy until the first game.
Yeah. Ryan O'Reilly's still going to be that guy.
O'Reilly's drive-through.
And hopefully Tarasenko doesn't shit the bed like he did at the beginning.
O'Reilly's drive-through. Fuck. That ain't it.
I mean, if Tarasenko can play like he did in the second half of last year, he's going to probably put up 50 goals.
I mean, Herndy told me today that Tarasenko's putting up 90, so you heard it here first.
Okay. They got Jordan Kyrou.
Kyrou's gross. All right.
I mean,
I think
they're obviously going to be a playoff team.
But if they get playoffs, then again, like, why couldn't... Did anybody actually pick them last year to be the Cup winners, even when they did make playoffs?
Yeah, some guy put like a huge bet on them when they were dead last, and he ended up winning like 300 grand out of it or something like that, or 500 grand.
You're trying to tell me he wasn't drunk when he did that? No chance he meant to.
He was definitely a loyal Blues
He clicked the wrong team.
Yeah.
He was a diehard Blues fan, but all right, Stanley Cup pick. Nick, what do you got? Give me the Stanley Cup final, both sides, and then tell me who wins it.
Okay, from your Central Division, I got the Smashville Predators. I think Duchesne was a big ad for them. I don't think Subban was a huge loss. Mm-hmm. I like Dante Fabro. Rene's the biggest question mark for me, but I mean, I feel like they're kind of Washington at this point. They've been poking at the bubble for so long, it's got to burst eventually here. I like Nashville, and I also like Washington. I think they find their way back. I love the way that they're coached. I think they maximize everybody. Kuznetsov's going to have a big year after his little vacation here at the start of the year. I think Ovechkin got that little taste of winning, and then last year fell apart, and I think he wants it back, seeing all his interviews and stuff. I got Nashville over Washington.
Okay.
4-2 in Game 6.
I think you're wrong.
I think you're also going to be wrong.
I got Vegas just because I never count out Vegas. They just find a way to win. And if Fleury is what Fleury's been the last 3 years, he'll just carry them to that final.
I feel like ever since
20
you
years.
made the
I do not want to bet against Fleury anymore.
I feel like once because you did that their first year and almost got a really, really wicked tattoo. You refuse to bet against them. It's just like a...
I don't want to be a homer.
Oh, he's going to be a homer.
And say Toronto.
He's going to be a homer.
So I think I might... I don't want to say Tampa. That's so boring.
How is that boring, though?
Because everyone... they're obviously the best team in the East. They're obviously the best team in the East, but I don't think they're a playoff team. Let's just have fun. I think New Jersey, Vegas.
Tampa not a playoff team? Can you define that?
Like they're in the playoffs every year. They're the best seed in the playoffs every year, but they tank every time in the playoffs. How many times have they been good in the playoffs? Right,
2005.
Once they made the Eastern Conference Final.
And then they went to the Cup against. They've also been to the Cup.
They're not, dude. They have not been that good. No, exactly. This is a very different team. They have not been a very good playoff team. They're incredible. Don't get me wrong, but tell me Kucherov looks like Kucherov in the playoffs.
He was suspended. Hard to tell.
The year before, he was not Kucherov in the playoffs.
The year before, Kucherov wasn't Kucherov. He was just Kuch.
Very much. Okay, sorry. Whatever. Either way, I don't know, man. I just don't have a lot of faith in that team in the playoffs.
So your pick.
I said New Jersey. I just think have some fun.
Oh my God.
Let's have some fun with that.
Vegas, New Jersey is the least watched Stanley Cup final of all time.
Except in Vegas, where it's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, but that just evens out for New Jersey.
Honestly, I think it's probably going to be Toronto, but I just don't want to sound like the homer that says it. Because, they're better. They probably beat Boston this year if they match up. I'll just say, let's just go Toronto, Vegas, because why not? Because New Jersey's
just smile and nod, and we'll move on to the next.
Yeah.
I've got Vegas beating Tampa. I think a full season with Stone and Pacioretty in that line is just they're going to light it up this year. And they were so good in the first round of the playoffs. It was too bad that call kind of ruined the last game.
Yep.
I think if they had to squeak through San Jose there, they probably would have at least taken St. Louis to 7 games as well, and if not beat them. I just think they're so deep right now that it's their time to win, and Yeah, that's who I have. They as soon as they make it to they're a classic playoff team too. They're big, they're strong, they're exactly like Washington was a couple of years ago when they won. And Tampa can't play to that. They're fast, but as soon as they get hit, they're going to get beat. So
valid.
Yeah, fair. I don't know. I have a bit of both years. I have Tampa and Nashville in the finals, and I don't know. I think both teams could really go either way, but I think Tampa just got so smacked in the mouth that they're going to come out and are just ready to prove something. Braden Point is nice contract there. I think he's going to come out firing and dare I say even better than last year.
Yeah, I think Stamkos wants it bad.
Yeah,
a different. I think he took he was really a step really silent player last year. And especially on that team. Actually, I got burned for it.
You keep cutting out.
Stick by it. I guess say Tampa.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that they're both.
They got.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, wanna do a quick little trophies rundown then? That's our teams preview.
You want to end? I feel like we should end with that. Hearts the biggest trophy.
sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Start with the Norris then. Round the horn.
Leaf fans are going to love me. I'm not a Leafs fan, but I think Morgan Rielly's taken a lot of strides in the last couple of years. I think he got shunned out of at least a nomination last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to... Oh, yeah, for sure. I can see him putting up over 60 points this year, and his defensive game has came a long way. So I think he's going to make that push to the next step this year, especially kind of having a better, younger defensive partner this year than Ron Hainsey. So
Brant's just your average drunk Leafs fan over here going, "Oh, what a joke! Rielly didn't get a nomination."
I don't think he should have won it. I'm not going to go as far to say
he should have been on the ballot.
The fact that my pick for this year's Norris was on the ballot and he wasn't is kind of a joke. But Victor Hedman.
Yeah.
I don't think Victor Hedman deserved a spot on that ballot last year. He is easily one of the best defensemen in the NHL when he's healthy, but he didn't play for the first quarter of last season.
Yeah.
And when he did play, he wasn't Victor Hedman. Like, he was good. He was great, but he wasn't Victor Hedman. It didn't really give him... I don't think it should have given him the nod over Rielly. But I think he probably gets it this year if he stays healthy because that guy's gross and he's on an incredible team.
Yeah. I think team bias had a lot to do with that nomination too, just the way Tampa was last year. I mean, that's probably why Kucherov got a Hart nomination and Vasilevsky got a Vezina nomination. Just a team. So.
I'm going to go with Brent Burns.
That's fair.
Yeah.
It is a scoring race.
Yeah, and I think if Karlsson is able to put in a full healthy season as well, that'll help Burns even more. And I just think, especially with Joe Pavelski gone and Donskoy gone, you need to find some offensive scoring, something from somewhere. And I think they're going to look to their star back there to take another step forward. Even though he was 84 points last year, he still has to kind of go up a little more, take on a little more of that responsibility. I think they definitely will. So yeah, Brent Burns.
That's fair. He scores a lot of points.
He does, man. He is always,
shoots a lot too.
Yeah.
Shoots a lot.
Yeah, so that's where it's just you give yourself enough chances, enough opportunities for it, then I think he's...
All right, Nick, I want to hear this.
I'm going to go Roman Josi.
Yeah, I want to hear why.
I just think it's time he starts getting some credit. In my eyes, he's been a top 5 defenseman the last at least 2 years.
Top 5? Has he ever been top 1?
No, that's why he hasn't won the Norris yet.
He been top 3
this year? He's saying.
I didn't vote for him last year. I'm voting for him this year.
Right.
I mean, the last 3 years he's been the best defenseman on the best D-core in the league. He's so underrated defensively. He skates like the wind. He puts up points.
We all know that.
I think Nashville's going to have a huge year. I said they win the cup. I said they win the division. Roman Horsey's the guy that's going to get him there.
But the thing with this award is we all know it has nothing to do with defense. And I'll agree with you that Roman Josi is incredible on the back end, but there's just so many guys that are ahead of him on the offensive side of the puck that he just loses votes as a Norris candidate.
You're telling me Mark Giordano was the best offensive defenseman last year?
He had like 72 points, didn't he?
He led D-man in points, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's what you're telling
Burns
me.
might have passed him in the end. So, yeah, I am telling you, yes, he was one of, if not the best in offensive defenseman. Did it? Yeah.
I think defense factors into it more than you're giving it credit for. Otherwise, Carlson and Burns would win every other year.
Which they did for a while there.
Yeah, Weber won one in there. And
yep, Subban.
How long did Drew Doughty go without winning one? Because most of his game was defense, and they're just like, oh, well, he didn't score as much as he should.
As long as Roman Josi has.
All right, so this is Yossi's Doughty year then?
Yeah.
All right, I'll give it to you.
I don't know. He's very similar to Duncan Keith. And Keith won, what, 1 or 2?
2.
Does he?
2, I think.
All right, well, then maybe we're all stupid. You got this. It's also a contract year for Josi.
I don't know who you are, but...
So maybe he plays out of his ass and wins it. All right, I'll give it to you. Vezina, Mac, who you got?
I have Carey Price, and that's part of the reason why I have Montreal in the playoff spot.
See now, okay, that's
I
fair.
think he's a man with a lot to prove right now, and I think he's a guy who can really go out and get it done.
Okay, I don't hate the pick. I mean, he always has the ability to win it. Sure,
he's kind of like the Connor McDavid, the boring pick, but he's gonna win it one of these times. So.
Eventually, you'll get it right.
Yeah.
If you just keep saying Carey Price, eventually you'll get it right. Brandon, who you got?
I'm always torn, but they don't call him Vezina for nothing, and that's kind of where I just stand. I don't think I need to really talk too much about it.
He's the best goalie in the NHL.
Yeah, for a good reason, and I think he's just going to continue to do what he does, and especially after payday.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's just a shoo-in for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going Braden Holtby.
Yeah, Holtby used to be a safer pick. Didn't he lose his job last year? Or was that the year before?
Unemployment? I don't know.
No, like he was not the starter.
I don't think so.
I don't even know. That was the same year they won the cup. Grubauer.
Yeah, because that was Grubauer's year.
That's okay. Yeah.
That was a question, but then I think Grubauer's start game.
They went down 2-0.
And Holtby came in.
Yeah, they went down 2-0.
That's right.
That's
okay.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I think he's underrated goalie. Like, I think Washington has a big year. I like the way that they play team defense, and I think that helps his numbers a little bit. Holtby's my guy.
Absolutely.
Neckbeard.
Yeah. I like Holtby as a pick. I mean, that guy's, when he shows up, I think he's better than Vasilevsky. But I just don't know if he's going to show up the way he used to, right?
Yep, fair. Calder?
You're not going to let me pick the Vezina?
No, actually, you don't get one.
Oh, okay, I lost my right to a pick. All right, go ahead, boys. No, I think honestly, I think Marc-Andre Fleury. Just because
we should have taken his ballot.
Yeah, no, because that team gets into the playoffs because of Marc-Andre Fleury.
You say you're a homer for the Leafs, but I honestly think that you're a homer for
I'm
Vegas.
A homer for
I
Vegas?
Think that Vegas
Go Knights? Go Knights?
You're subtly...
No, man, I just he's been so good the last 2 years, and he's been a Vezina candidate, but they just...
He's also older.
He is older, but I don't think he's that old. It's not like he's gonna... I don't think he regresses this year.
I don't think he's gonna do bad. I don't think he's gonna put up Vezina numbers.
I think this is the last year... I think this is the last year where he puts up those numbers, wins a Vezina, and then he tanks next year. I think this is the last year you see. I don't know. This is the last year you see a great Fleury, and then
the flower's just gonna
winter will hit the flower next year.
It's gonna just wilt away. Petals will fall off.
Exactly.
All right.
We're gonna recycle this clip for next year's.
That's what I think. Anyways, I could be way off. I'm probably way off. But I'm pretty sure, odds wise, he was ranked 3rd or 4th to win it at this point. So I mean, I'm not that far off.
I mean, I said Freddie Anderson last year, so
Freddie.
That was a bold play.
I'm surprised none of us said Freddie. All right. Go to the caller. Nick started off.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
I'm going a little off the board here. Cale Makar. I mean, we always hear this argument that the heart is for the most valuable, not the most points. Blah 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 blah. And I mean, if we want to apply that same criteria to the Calder, I mean, a top pairing defenseman means a lot to a team that somebody out there said is going to win the division. So, I mean, looked amazing last year. He looked amazing in preseason this year. I think he's going to be a top 5 defenseman in the league real quick.
Who won it last year?
Petters?
Right. Yeah. Who's the last D-man to win a Calder?
Aaron Ekblad.
Did he win it?
Did he win it? I thought Panarin won it that year.
Oh, yeah. All right, talk amongst yourselves for a minute.
No, Panarin was McDavid's year.
Yeah, Panarin was McDavid's year.
All right, name some picks here. I'm Googling.
I agree with you, huge. I think Cale Makar he looked like an NHL-ready guy in every series they played last year. And I think if he comes into this season playing like that, I think he walks away with that award. Jack Hughes is great. Capo Caco's great.
Wait, are we agreeing?
Yeah, this is weird, but yeah.
Yeah, Aaron Ekblad won it.
2014.
Okay, so that's why.
Yeah, maybe it's about time then.
I'm kind of on the same deep mindset that you guys are, but I'm actually gonna say Quinn Hughes.
Oh.
Because if Vancouver he was almost a point per game.
He did have good numbers
on the preseason. I saw some games last year where he was pretty good. I don't know if you guys watched that because nobody watches Vancouver. But and I don't know. I think that he will be an essential piece in that Vancouver side of things. And if they can actually make some noise and surprise some teams, it's going to be because of Quinn Hughes, and he might steal it from his brother.
I appreciate the mindset, but there's no way he's the first Hughes listed on the ballot.
Yeah, and I have the other Hughes, Jack. I've typed up Jack Hughes for probably 2 years now. I've been watching him through the U.S. National Development Team program. This kid is electric every time he touches the puck. You never know what's going to happen. He's playing on their second line with Nikita Gusev, who obviously NHL-wise you've never seen him play. But the guy led the league in the KHL for the last 2 years in scoring. He's obviously super
The one
good
thing I will say is a lot of good players that come over from the KHL, like a lot of top players from the KHL, have a real tough time adapting to the NHL game.
I'm guessing that nobody really watched New Jersey preseason games, but they looked good.
He's really good.
What the hell was the guy Vegas?
Shipachev.
Yeah. Like he was a top scorer in the KHL before he came over and looked like garbage.
He was a top scorer, but he wasn't the top scorer.
The top scorer. That's fair. Yeah.
This guy really reminds me of a better two-way version of Artemi Panarin. And if he can sneak in some time on the power play with Taylor Hall, I mean, this guy's potential is endless, especially in his rookie year.
Hall, Heischer, Subban, Hughes.
They're good,
like
man.
That power play.
That team's pretty. They're pretty good. I think most of us had them as a playoff team, anyways.
None of these picks are bad.
No,
they could all win it.
The Calder, you never know because it's just like rookies could show up and have a terrible first season and be incredible for the rest of their career, right? Like Sidney Crosby doesn't have a Calder Trophy nomination or winner. Sorry.
Oh, injuries happen too, right? Like Panarin stole it from McDavid.
Yeah, because McDavid got hurt.
Injured like that. That's absolutely what it could be too.
Yeah. Nobody even said Kako in that.
I mentioned
very well.
But I don't know. Man. I think that's a tough. New York's.
He had a better World Junior tournament than Jack Hughes did.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's no reason he can't have a better first season.
Nope.
And Hughes was hurt.
Yeah.
Let's throw that in there.
It was also it was a leg too, right? Like, so that's a big part of his game. Yeah.
Yeah, and we saw the last time a Finn and a U.S. guy came in the same year.
Mm-hmm. Right, that's fair.
Yeah. Patrick Laine.
Maybe we'll turn the tables. Who knows?
All right, Maurice Richard. Brandon, who you got?
Does anybody have anybody else?
No.
I do.
I do not.
Okay.
If he doesn't get suspended for his off-season antics, I think it's Austin Matthews to win.
Why would he get suspended for that?
Because
Ryan O'Reilly's drive-through and he didn't miss a shift.
Yeah,
Please
that's
don't
fair.
show your Calvin Klein's.
Neither did
He's-
Petri.
Yeah.
I think the thing with Matthews too, though, like this whole situation blown up so much harder because he's in Toronto.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yes.
like that Ryan O'Reilly situation almost went under the radar. Like you really we know about it as hockey fans. Yeah. Like as hockey fans, you've heard the story. It's like, oh shit, but like outside people wouldn't know a damn thing about that Ryan O'Reilly situation. You can ask almost anyone in Toronto, and they know what's going on with Austin Matthews right now. So like it looks worse on him, but like regardless, I think he looks disgusting in the preseason, and if he continues that for the whole year and manages to stay healthy, which is something he's struggled to do in the last 2 seasons, sorry, then I think he can easily score 50.
I don't
He's got
think
Nylander with him too. For the full year. So.
Not a bad take at all.
You have
but
Janssen, who's coming up and has looked really good, and if you have him on the wing with the two of them, I don't know. I think he's got a chance. I think he's got a chance to score 50 plus, and I don't. Ovechkin should slow down eventually, right? Like maybe this is the year he doesn't score 50.
Okay, but
how many years we've been saying that?
Yeah, I know. It's just boring to say it again.
Until the day they redesign that power play, I'm not going to say anything about Ovechkin.
Yeah. Speaking of redesigning a power play, though, they redesigned the Toronto one.
All right.
They have
They
have it set up more like the Washington power play in the sense that Marner's making passes from down low
to the strong side and
Matthews on the other side. Yeah.
It's still an umbrella though.
Yeah. Same idea, but
I mean, Matthews has to be probably number 2 on all the rest of our votes here, but
it's Ovechkin's award to win. I get it. It's going to be renamed the Ovechkin Award eventually, but
and I mean, he says he doesn't care about Gretzky's record. You're trying to tell me he doesn't care about Gretzky's record?
Yeah, bullshit.
It's a stretch, but
he's a little beat up right now, though, isn't he? Like he got hurt for a bit. Am I wrong?
When he fell off his bike in preseason?
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure he's a little beat up, anyways. But like,
could be.
I mean, he doesn't have to move much on a power play.
He's been steamrolling guys since 2000.
As long as his upper body is okay, he's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fair.
All good there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Lady Bing, the most fun award in hockey.
I don't even know which one the Lady Bang is. Is that sad?
Like the most sports.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking.
You're like you got.
We're gonna pick that one,
You
eh?
got like the least penalty. You cause the least ruckus in the NHL. Pretty
Yeah,
much.
basically least amount of penalty minutes.
Oh, that okay.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
I'd say Barkov just because I don't think I've ever seen him actually like do anything like you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's fair.
I got Barkov.
You could say anybody like
Or
that's,
Johnny Hockey.
Yeah, it's like one of those guys. You know, like just.
Is it weird to say Morgan Riley?
Yes.
Because there was at one point last year, like 3/4 of the way through the season, where he had like no penalties. I think he had 8 minutes total.
He complains a lot to the ref though, and that I think plays a huge part of it.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I mean he does have an A on his chest, but he's still very vocal.
Yeah. Okay. Does it change?
I have
C on his chest, and they kind of understand it a little more.
Okay, they're giving it to Nylander. Give it a rest.
I actually have Mitch Marner for the Lady Bing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, he's small enough. He's probably the same size as Nick. So
he's also he's also real active with the stick, and I feel like that's going to get him into some spots where like
Barkov.
Yeah,
Barkov's top defensive player. Speaking of that, on to the Selkie. I'm going Barkov again.
Did he win it this year?
No.
Who won it this year?
It was. Ooh. Well, it was between Bergeron, O'Reilly, and Stone.
You're telling me none of us know the answer to this?
It was O'Reilly, wasn't it?
It was
that
O'Reilly.
Sounds familiar. He came home with like 9 trophies. I remember that.
And 19.
He won the Lady Bing too, didn't he?
I don't know. Now we're just making stuff up, I think.
It could be. He had like 4 trophies sitting in front of him. I remember that.
It was O'Reilly.
Yeah.
It was O'Reilly.
I have Mark Stone there.
Yeah, I'm
he
with
was
you.
a candidate last year, and I think he's going to continue to be.
And I like that pick a lot. I just feel like they always go centers.
Center. I was gonna say. I was just
Bergeron,
say, like,
Kopitar, Datsuk, run it back. It's always centers.
Mark Stone is easily the best defensive forward in the game, but because he's a center, he's never gonna win this award. I think, or sorry, a winger. My bad.
You know what?
It's tough.
Break the streak right now.
That's fair.
Here it is.
Yeah.
I have another center, another guy from New Jersey, Nico Heischer. He's a very underrated defensive player.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason he went first overall in the draft, not because of offensive points totals, but because of his defensive play.
Yeah.
And I think that will really show through this year.
Playing in the Swiss Pro League at what, 15? Probably helps you.
Doing it right.
They look good, man.
They've done some good drafting recently.
Yeah.
All good there.
On to the awards that have nothing to do with the on-ice stuff.
Yep.
All right. Jack Adams.
Mac?
I have Joel Quenneville. Obviously, I'm a Hawks fan, so I kind of have a little bit of a bias between him and I, but I think he goes, it's kind of the exact same situation he came in with the Hawks. They have a good young group. They're kind of right on the mend of doing something special. I think he can really push them over to that next level.
Yeah, this award is basically the team that didn't make the playoffs last year that turned it around and looked really good this year. And I can't disagree with you. The fact I think Florida's the biggest turnaround team this year.
On that one,
yeah, and it's good. It's tough to take it like preseason look. It's like the team that's gonna do better, a lot better than they were last year. Florida's your pick regardless, right? Because they just look better than they were. So it's tough to try and say not Joel Quenneville.
Also, not gonna lie, I don't really know many other coaches
that
are in that situation. So,
yeah, exactly.
I went Todd Reardon just because I didn't want to go with Quenneville, but I figured everybody would.
Everyone else went Quenneville.
I said I like Washington, the way that they play.
Okay.
Sure.
Except, they didn't miss the playoffs, did they?
No, but they sucked.
Yeah.
Carolina.
They sucked for Washington standards. Yeah. GM of the year.
GM
okay.
of the year. Yeah.
I have Joe Sakic. I don't know. Colorado's going to be a good team. If they have a chance that they kind of bump up to first in the division, I think a lot of it has to do with Joe Sakic. So,
Nick, go ahead, man. I got nothing on this award.
I'll go Julian Brisebois because everybody was like, "Oh, Stevie Y's gone. Braden Point's going to get $15 million a year," and then he gets like what, 6 something.
And not only that, but brings in Kevin Shattenkirk too on the back end.
Brings in Shattenkirk, gets Miller out for a first-round pick. I don't know how you do a cap dump for a first-round pick.
Upgrades the backup goalie too.
Yeah.
Gets McElhaney, bumps through a couple goalies through waivers. Like they already had all their pieces, obviously, but just the way he was able to keep them under the cap.
That's fair. You can't really disagree with that one. You did a great job.
You're going to say Kyle Dubas.
No, I'm definitely not.
I'm going to say Kyle Dubas. I'm going out there and saying it. I will not homer Toronto at all until this point.
As the only guy that's not a Leaf fan.
I'm not the only guy.
Okay, right, sorry. What a weird podcast dynamic. I didn't even really...
I like it. No, man, if they have success, they're going to say it was because of...
Okay, what did Dubas do that would earn him this award, though?
Whoa.
I
think
Jake
Muzzin.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I guess the Barry trade is big.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
Last year.
But do you get graded on last year's moves?
I mean,
is that included?
I'm not say it doesn't. I'm gonna say maybe if it actually does, but obviously they're gonna look at all that as well.
Okay.
I mean, a full year of Jake Muzzin is better than 2 months of Jake Muzzin. He did that.
I think that if they can actually. No, I'm gonna say Kyle Dubas. I think that's
like signing Mikheyev, whatever.
Yeah,
sure.
Okay.
And fitting all those guys under the cap.
Yeah, that's impressive. He
Yeah.
did some impressive work to do all that, but I just don't think he made enough moves to warrant it. To be fair, my pick's not much better. I took Jeff Gorton out of New York just because I think bringing in Panarin makes that first line. If they become a playoff team, if they become a playoff team, he made some moves that look real good. Plus, this whole rebuild, I know I kind of just said, do you look at the past, but what he's done the last 2 years in this rebuild is incredible. To make them I think they're a competitive team this year, and if they can pull into the playoffs, I think he's got a shot to win it.
Yeah, I think that Trouba trade was good. That's fair.
It's just good old number 57.
Number 57.
Love it.
All right,
That's it for the awards, eh?
Mac, want to talk about some bets, and then we'll get into some hot takes.
What do you mean? We
get out of
never
here.
did league MVP, boys. We
We skipped the heart.
We
That's
saved
right.
that for last, and then you guys are just
We
done
skipped.
with it.
Yeah, all right.
Way.
Nick, who you got for the heart?
I am going with Connor McDavid.
Mm-hmm. Tell me why, Nick.
I don't think the Oilers get in, but I mean...
You think he wins it if they don't get in?
Yeah, I was looking at all my playoff teams. I didn't want to go McKinnon because that seems like a consensus pick. Crosby, I don't think Penguins are in, so that's the same. Tampa, they're too good. They're like depth. You can't pick one guy. Nashville, same thing. They don't have a league MVP. Vegas, same thing. Don't have a league MVP. Washington, you give it to Ovechkin. That's basically my playoff teams.
Boston?
So I just went McDavid because, nobody can carry a team like he does.
You have anyone different than the consensus, or?
This is my personal homer pick.
Okay.
Is Patrick Kane. I think that Patrick Kane is honestly the best player in the NHL right now due to the fact that he is healthy. He has close to 100 seasons on a team that doesn't make the playoffs. It's supposed to be rebuilding. You can give me that face all you want, man. Just wait till he comes in and gets another 100-point season, and the Chicago Blackhawks make the playoffs, something that Connor McDavid cannot do.
That is one big thing, that if the Blackhawks make the playoffs,
then all eyes are on Patrick Kane, and all that they will give him
they
will give him the heart.
That might be his award to lose.
So that's why Patrick Kane is there, because if Blackhawks didn't make the playoffs last year, they come in this year and he gets another 100-point or close to season. And as you're saying, make Alex Nylander look absolutely great, like an all-star.
To play devil's advocate, Kane had one of the best seasons of his life last year, and they didn't make the playoffs. So if he does that again and they do make the playoffs, is he really the most valuable player to his team?
I think so. To be consistently able to put up 100 points and do that, and now put your team in a situation where they were not
right. But does that make him the most valuable to his team? Because like obviously someone else came in and made them better.
I think that's the most valuable. But if he drops off, are they a playoff team?
So they're no worse than they were last year. If he drops off, do they drop any farther in the standings than they were last year?
Yeah, absolutely.
How?
Because that's
how much further can you fall?
It's so packed.
Huge. They were 2 points out of the playoffs.
They were also with a bunch of other teams in there. Were they not?
Yeah, but if they didn't have Patrick Kane, then they'd probably be one of the bottom two in the conference.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it's a valid pick.
That's the first. That was the first season that Taves played a full year with Patrick Kane. And it was his best season of his career offensively.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Who you got, Mac?
I've got Nathan McKinnon. Obviously, it's the consensus pick among us.
Yep.
But 2 years ago, he scored 97 points in 72 games. I thought he should have won the Hart Trophy that year. Kind of got shunned over by McDavid, or no, Taylor Hall that year. And he was on pace for 111 points.
Hall had a great season. Year. Yeah.
I just think
it was McKinnon's.
Yeah, McKinnon.
I think I agree with you that it's McKinnon's. The only thing he has going against him is he plays in Colorado, and nobody watches Colorado. Nobody league-wide watches Colorado. Like, they have a good fan base in Colorado.
I think they'll do it now, though.
You think, though? They're such a weird time zone that, like...
There's a lot of hype around them now. I think they've got...
a lot of around their name that people are going to start checking out.
I still think they fall victim to, like...
Absolutely, yeah. Especially when they were playoff side, like, to see that team,
I guess.
That created a lot of buzz, and especially because they really got better. Like, Byron Bowen isn't even in
Bowen Byron?
Bowen Byron?
Byron Bowen? Close enough.
How many beers?
I wrote a blog about it the other day. You guys can check it out on the asports.com blog. Just for more in depth, but I have him as a prediction of 45 goals and 80 assists. So,
yeah, he's gonna be huge. There's only like 4 names that it could be. I think every year, and I just think he's a 4 name. It's McDavid's obviously always in there. Kucherov's always in there. McKinnon and probably Patrick Kane are the 4 names that like I think you get the battle between every year because they're incredible hockey players. And it's all just kind of depends on how their team does, essentially. And it's like Kucherov loses out because the rest of his team's incredible, like you mentioned. So it's like, well, do they really? The thing with me last year is like it wasn't Kucherov's to win because if he's not on that team, what are they? They're just not the record-setting team anymore. They're just still probably the 1 seed. Yeah. They just don't set the record. So like, but the other 3, like if Edmonton makes the playoffs, it's McDavid. If if Colorado looks like how Colorado should, it's McKinnon's. If the Blackhawks make the playoffs, it's probably Patrick Kane's. It all just depends on how their seasons fare, realistically.
So basically, you're saying the winner of the trophy depends on how people play.
No, on how their team plays. Honestly, I don't even think it depends on how they play, because all four of them are probably going to put up 100 points.
Yeah,
probably more than 110 for the most part. So it's like it all just depends on how your team fares at that point.
All right, all good on that.
I think so. We're out of awards. We didn't skip anything else.
No, I think so.
Okay, perfect.
Please save it to the end, and then you're gonna just pull up.
Matt, give me some lines to pick from, man. If I'm trying to bet here, who am I putting my money on?
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of lines out there right now. They're still figuring out some rosters and some lineups and stuff. But at this week on opening night, I'm going to take the Maple Leafs favorite at minus 1.5, meaning they have to win by 2 goals or more. They are playing, I think, the Senators on Wednesday, right?
Yep.
So I will pick them, and they are plus 100, which is insane to me. So I'm jumping all over that. Same thing with the Vegas Golden Knights that night against San Jose. They're also favored at minus 1.5, and they're plus 135, which is crazy value.
You think they cover the spread on that?
I don't know. They had their full lineups out the other night, and they beat San Jose 5-1. So
okay.
Minus Evander Kane.
All right. That goes your picks. If you guys watch the baseball podcast at all, you know at the beginning of the year we made some wicked hot takes. Mine was really bad.
Was real hot.
And
really sizzled.
It sizzled quick. And yeah, I get it. Sorry, boys.
What mine was.
It lasted throughout the entire podcast. I got ripped on it for the entire thing. However, for some stupid reason, I want to bring that back.
Hey, mine's still alive.
What was yours?
Jose Barrios for Cy Young.
Barrios is not going to win the Cy Young. I got to give it to you.
It ain't over till it's over.
I got to give it the fact that they actually won and you picked that. That was good. That was impressive.
Twins insider.
Yeah. So anyways, let's do that again. Let's have some fun. Nick, start us off since you're the expert here.
Oh, all right. I'm going to give you 2 because the one I kind of feel bad. I'm going to go a cold take on Malkin. I'm going to say for the second time in his career, he's going to finish below a point per game.
Point? Really?
Yeah, I said already I don't love Pittsburgh this year. The only other time he did that was 2010, which was the lockout year. He played 43 games, had 38 points or something. I mean, I said he's playing with Brandon Tanev. That was a wild contract.
So you have no confidence in Alex Galchenyuk?
No. Do you?
I don't know. I don't know what Galchenyuk can be. This is what we said on the A Sports podcast, is that if there's ever a year where Galchenyuk is going to show you what he is, it's this year, because you were playing with one of the premier centermen in the NHL. And if you can't be good this year, then you're probably not what people think.
Also, just to feed my own fire here, 2 years ago, Malkin had 42 goals, and last year he had 21. Quick math there, that's half. That's not good.
Looks about half, yep.
Yeah. I don't know. He looked slow to me last year. He's still a good player.
Yeah.
He's still going to go down as one of the most underrated centers or players ever.
The best second line center in NHL history? Or am I wrong on that?
Nazem Kadri on the Colorado Avalanche. Yeah, no, for sure he is.
At least top 3.
I think the whole team starts to progress. I think Crosby's not the reason for that. I think you got to look at Malkin a bit here. And sure, all those rumors about him not liking playing with Kessel. Kessel's a damn good player. That got him some points.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I can see where that goes wrong is that they have such a lethal power play still.
Yep.
They have 5 guys that are really good, especially with Justin Schultz coming back on the back end.
But we're going hot take here.
That is the one thing with Pittsburgh, is that they always have at least 5 guys that are good. It's just whatever's below them has been okay.
And I'm also going to throw, we spent a while on the Calder there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go Nick Suzuki finishes top 5 for Calder.
That's your boy, eh?
Yeah. Shout out to him. He's probably watching.
That's fair.
I mean...
So we probably shouldn't say anything bad about him, is what you're saying?
I mean, we can talk trash about the Habs, but
Right. I think that's...
He looked
He looked good in the preseason, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Gallagher said after the game, they were like, "Do you think Suzuki makes the game?" He's like, "He better. He deserves it. He just won us the game." Like
the thing is, there's a lot of really good rookies this year, including a couple what do you call it? Guys from last year, like Cale Makar played last year, looked great. Quinn Hughes played last year, looked great. Jack Hughes, Capo.
That's my 4, and Suzuki's 5 right there. I think Suzuki's going to work his way up that Montreal lineup. Like as we said, they're just a bunch of depth guys. Like I think if he starts getting some ice time, there we go. Okay. Shout out to Suzuki.
I don't hate it. It's hot, but I don't hate it.
Thank you.
Mac, what do you got?
I've got Alex Nylander, speaking of earlier. I've got him with 20 plus goals and 30 plus assists. Just to the fact that he's playing.
That's hot, dude. That's steaming hot. This guy's been a bust in Buffalo. Like he couldn't crack Buffalo's lineup.
And now he's playing with Kane and Taves on the top line.
So you think that gives him 20 plus goals?
I think I'd get 20 goals with Kane.
Yeah.
As Brandon said, he's kind of good.
I don't know, man. I've seen you play.
He's kind of really good.
So, I mean, yeah, he's kind of really good. You still got to be able to finish.
That was real hot.
You just went from he was a bust to he's kind of really good. In 30 seconds of Mac talking.
No, Patrick Kane's kind of really good.
Oh, damn it.
No, yeah, Alex Nylander's not kind of really good. Alex Nylander's a bust. But
I think that's hotter than Mac's take.
Really? When's the last half NHL season he's had?
None. He was ripping up Rochester.
He's still really young. How old is he?
He's 21.
21?
Was he not
most?
Marner's draft?
No, he was after that. He was way after that.
No.
2 years after that.
No.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
He played in the World Juniors 2 years ago. Marner was already ripping up the NHL.
Because Marner's gross.
He's a 1999 birth year.
Yeah.
So is he actually?
Drafted,
yeah, so he's 20 years old.
Was he not in Marner's draft?
No, not even close.
Where am I? All right.
It was a year or two after him.
2 after.
Okay.
Marner's 97.
Okay. Well, he's also all right. Whatever. Fair enough. I don't think he's that good. But
I mean, we didn't bash your Luke Voigt take.
You did bullshit. You didn't bash my Luke Voigt take.
We tore him a new one.
Yeah, he deserved it though.
Bashing on my Luke Voigt take.
I couldn't believe it. I think I messaged you probably every week for like the first month.
Update. He's at 3.
Yeah,
he was. All right, whatever. When he hits 40 next year, we'll have another conversation. Brandon, do you have one this week?
I do actually.
Okay.
My hot take, even though I did say that Ovechkin would obviously take his same old award, I actually think that Jeff Skinner is going to. That's my hot take. Is that Jeff Skinner is actually going to outscore Ovechkin? I don't know how possible it is, but hey. So him and Jack Eichel, so in his first year.
Excuse me. What?
Hang on. It's my hot take.
Okay, that's a real hot take considering you think Ovechkin's still going to win the Maurice Richard.
No. I'm saying
Skinner's going to get popped for PEDs after he scores his 51st.
Stripped of the trophy.
Get injured. If Skinner and Eichel can have a healthy year together for their second year, and Skinner already got 40 goals last year, I think that
with a cold end of the year.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that he could definitely surpass the goal. And
I like that take. I like it.
What, 9 million? He should be putting up a few goals.
Absolutely, but it's like it's your first year with first year, second year with Eichel. They're figuring each other out. I think Eichel takes a step forward. He got 82 points in 77 games, so I think he takes another step forward. And
so you're saying just goals or points?
What do you mean?
That he's going to outscore Ovechkin.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm a little fuzzy on the whole logistics, but I like it.
Because
I just want to know how Ovechkin.
Because I said Ovechkin earlier, but I didn't realize that Skinner. I mean, I did know that Skinner had close to, but then when I actually think about the hot take, and then I realized, you know what? So I guess I would go back and then change my.
So you're going to change your. Okay.
So there it is. So I go back.
I was really excited to see how Skinner outscored him and still didn't win the Rocket. Okay.
No. Yeah. So Skinner will outscore.
That makes a little more sense.
In my books. I just realized now that Ovechkin's not my
right.
there. So
okay, good. Glad you figured that
we'll
one.
Take that.
All right, what do you got, Luke Voigt?
Oh, here we go, eh? I got Kasperi Kapanen scoring 75 plus.
That's probably the hottest of all these.
You think?
Considering he's probably going to be put back on the third line.
See, this is what I don't think. Later, thanks for coming. Okay, I don't think he's gonna end up on the third line. I think he stays with Marner's line.
I think that's a horrible idea for everybody involved.
But like in a sense, like because Marner's gonna carry the puck. That's never gonna be Cap's puck to pick up, right? All he's got to do is get open somewhere, and he's not gonna have to take those shit shots. And you're gonna get he's gonna take those low percentage shots. It's gonna end up on John Tavares' stick, and he's gonna bury it. So that's a point. I think it's tough to plan. Like, how many points did Zach Hyman have last year? He had
high 40s.
Yeah, Kapanen's a lot better than what Zach Hyman is. Plus, he's more offensive minded. He's gonna bury more goals. He's probably gonna put up more assists.
He has more skill, but I don't think he's as smart.
As Hyman?
No. I think Hyman brings things to that line that Kapanen doesn't.
Okay. I don't know. I think he's got the talent to be on that line and put up at least 75 points.
It's a hot take for a reason.
So where does that put him? How many Leafs finish ahead of him in points then? Tavares, Marner,
Matthews, Nylander.
So you think 75 points gets you fifth on the team?
Which is where he sat last year, right?
That is a high-scoring team.
Are they not going to be?
I don't know about that high.
If they all stay healthy, are they not going to be?
That's what Calgary had. That was 5 guys over 70.
Exactly. There's a strong chance they could be Calgary if they're all healthy. Realistically, say my prediction's correct, Matthews scores 50. That's only 30 assists. He could put that up, no problem. Nylander's probably going to be on the other end of those 50 goals. He could probably end up a 30-goal scorer. That puts him near 80.
Yeah.
And then Marner and Tavares, obviously, you're close to 100-point guys.
Brandon, what's your take on this?
I think it's a Luke Voigt take.
Yeah, I agree.
You want hot or not? I can cool it down.
Hot. I know you love the hot takes, but it's just like you walked up to the stove and you threw it on 9 right away. Like that.
I want it hot.
And
broil.
Difference between hot and ghost pepper.
Do you
want me to change it to ghost pepper takes?
Do you really think 75?
Yeah.
I'd almost put at his I don't. That's really hard for him to do. I didn't even know what he got last year.
I was just gonna pull that up.
I'd say half that.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna say 37.
What he did last
year. You think 37 points last year?
Yeah, I say 43.
He had 44. Look at you go, man.
So you're expecting an extra
30 points. Yeah, you're telling me he can't put in
points, an extra 31 points from a hopefully second to third liner.
Yeah, I think so.
He played with Matthews for a full year.
I'm telling you right now, if he gets 75 points, we have big cap problems coming.
No, because he's got 3 years on his deal, and it's incredible.
Yeah, and he goes, "Oh, remember that time I got 75 points going back door?
We already have a cup. Walk away. Thanks."
Wow. I mean, on that note, I think our 2-hour podcast.
Yeah, we went a little long. I don't think we're going to be this long for the majority of them, but it is our intro podcast, and figured get everything out of the way. Hockey starts, and it's probably going to be one day by the time we release this.
Yep.
So enjoy. We'll see you next time.
Yes.
See you, boys.